Hello guys, I'm correctly gonna read to you guys here. Alright. I'll read to you guys a little bit. Right here called Life is So Good. I'm gonna read the back to you guys. I'm gonna read like a chapter of it. And tell me what you guys think. There might be some swearing in it. But here we go. This is the back of the book. Tell you a little bit about the book. You know, you can see because you can see the back of the book what it tells you about it. So yeah, here it is. I tell people not to worry about things. Not to worry about their lives. Things will be alright. People need to hear that. Life is good, just as it is. There isn't anything that would change about my life. For almost 4 years, I had gotten used to being alone. It didn't bother me none. Back at our farm, I was most often the first one up. There was lots of chores to do, but sometimes shutting the door quietly, I would lean against the logs and look at the sky and take a few moments for myself inside the cabin. Had a comfortable feel of people. Outside, it was empty and lonely, and I had grown to like that too. I like to look at the stars on that still and quiet morning, and listen for the howl of the squirrels. I had never seen a car before, and that Model T was beautiful. It was polished black with a shiny brass radiator cap. The top could come down, of course, and it wasn't something to see. It worked in towns, but it wasn't too practical. We didn't get a lot of rain, but when the rain came down, it was often a downpour. Our roads turned to mud, and the autos just couldn't make it after good rain. I saw cars being towed by a mole of team of horses. Most people agreed as to how those cars were close to useless, but I still liked them anyways. This is kind of like the history stuff, where he pretty much, like, this is, you know, the reading this in school, my teacher, and this is still good. There has he couldn't learn how to read, and this is pretty much a true story. This is by Dawson Gores, 1890. This is a 1898. Life is So Good. This is published in 2000. So this is about 9 years old book. So here. I'm gonna read that. I'm gonna skip that to chapter 1. Alright. That took me 3 minutes to read that, wasn't it? Alright. Let's go ahead and read this. I'm gonna read chapter 1, then I'll be done for the night for you guys. It's about a couple pages, I guess, I'm not too sure. Let's go read. Something, okay. Let's just read this is chapter 2. Why do you enjoy every moment? I stared at the hand candles and the different wooden barrels. The man behind the counter was right. I could tell he didn't like me, so I let him see the penny in my hand. Take your time, son, my father said with a grin. You did a man's work this year. Putting his hands on my shoulder, he said to the store clerk, "He's all 10 years, but the boy crushed as much can as I did. Since the age of 4, I had always been working to help the family." I don't know if it was pride for father was, or the pleasure from a piece of hand candy, the bacon, but I felt so good. I thought I would burst. I had been thinking of those hard candies since my father woke me before daybreak and said, "Here's the wagon. We're going to take some ribbon syrup into town and you're coming." When I went back inside, the stove was going to When I went back inside, the stove was going and Ma had a pot of moss cooling. We ate quite late so as not to wake the little ones that were asleep on the other side of the room. I was happy to see they were still sleeping, for it was uncommon to spend the day alone with my father. We had never had much time to talk, and I just liked to be with him. Alright, kill the nigger, boy. Kill the nigger. They can't be messing with a white woman. Sisman had Pete by the arms, the toes of his boots dragging the dirt. His face looked up the sky as he screamed, "I didn't test her." I know Pete, and knew that was so. I shouted, "Pete, I tell..." My father's hand clamped over my mouth. His other arm crossed the air right out of my chest. I read his eyes, and then he slowly let me go without saying a word. I know it wasn't so, thought the Willie's cook. I'm sorry, yeah. Had heard the whole thing. She just kept on walking in the kitchen and watched Billy Joe and her father. She was right there, but they didn't even notice she was alive. She was scared about what they said, and I heard her talking to my mama about it. Billy Joe had gotten herself in trouble. Folks were spending a lot of time with him. When her daddy found out she was with a child, she had a whipping coming. Sure enough, her daddy was steaming mad and of short temper anyhow. "Who's the boy that done this to you?" her daddy shouted. Sally looked at the belt in his hand. She was crying, but wouldn't say nothing. She was scared and afraid to tell the boy's name, because she figured that her daddy was just might go off and kill him. Well, if he did this 'cause he wanted to, a good beating would teach you right. She cried even harder then. When you get it coming, unless, but maybe this happened against you all. Well, alright. Her crying so as seeing a way out of beating. She listens close. "Is that what happened?" he says slowly. Scared to see what Betty Joe could tell me that the safe answer was yes. Now, why did you tell a whole lie? She did nod her head. Damn. Was it that Jackson boy from across the bridge? Betty Joe, she loved him. Or at least thought she did. Shook her head no. Her daddy looked at her hard. His face turned angry, and he said, "Was it our high boy Pete, the worthless lazy nigger? Did he rape you? Did he do this?" To each question she nodded in the smallest way. The tears still flowed, but he threw the belt down and steamed out the door. "There's one nigger done pay for this." You know, there's some bad words in here, like damn, nigger, you know. It's because back then it was common, but today, back then they could say it, but today, you know how today when people say nigger or damn or, you know, well, in this book they have that because back then I guess they probably let everybody say it because it's more common back then than today. But you know, nigger's a bad word now today, but back then I guess nigger was an okay word to say back then. But today, nigger or damn or whatever, or bitch, so I mean, you know, today, people, that's a bad word nowadays, but back then, people said a lot. So that's why they had this stuff in this book. Alright. Pete was 17, and the hired boy around the farm, picking cotton, cutting, can, toys like that. He was a good worker, but he was smart, and he knew enough not to even look at a white woman. I knew Pete since we were little. He was older than me, but he treated me well. Pete was the one who swam out and saved Jimmy, Blake, at the swimming hole. Jimmy had smacked his head on the corner of the raft when he was thrown off for us little kids. Everyone was afraid to swim out that far. But he done it. Pete, he would do anything for anybody. As I was growing up, I didn't have any toys, but I did still own a baseball that Pete had given me a year earlier. We had been at the pasture on a Sunday afternoon last summer. I'd helped to cut the field. A team from Tyler had come out over to play some of the boys from Marshall. We didn't have a real stadium, but we would go out and mow the pasture and set up a table for a big Sunday festival. Sunday feast. Sorry if I make some mistakes. Because sometimes I get words and I say something different. It happens. And get together afterwards. Pete playing shortstop. He was good too. If you want to fast, you should have seen Pete run the bases. The score was tied. It went to extra innings. In the others, Pete came up with a man on first 2 outs. He took the pitcher for count and then he almost hit a cow. It would have been a home run if we had finished summer as it was. He got a tempo and drove in the winning run. A cheer for our Marshall boys, especially for Pete. I'm proud of him. When the team gave him the game ball, he gave me that ball and said, "You practice with it good, you be a hitter someday too." I was awful pleased, but I couldn't party mother. Thanks to you when my mama knows me. Pete was my hero. The color couldn't play in the big lessons, but if they could, I knew Pete would have made it. Yeah, someone has come in a sin, and Pete was gonna pay for it. Read about it. Okay, be about 2 more pages. Alright, let's start with this page. Yes, someone has committed a sin and Pete was gonna pay for it. I looked down at the boardwalk. They was dragging Pete in the direction of the post office. Self Tate stepped off the boardwalk, up ahead from where the knob was. I let out a big breath of air. The chef was a big man. I had heard it said that on the bed he had carried a barrel of molasses on his back from the general store down past the silent. They said that once when things got out of hand at the rodeo and the cow threatened an officer, the chef took care of himself. He laid 6 men out cold before the crowd settled down. I knew he could stop this. People were sparing off the boardwalk and cursing. Pete, something terrible. We ought to keep our woman safe. Make that boy pay and show all the niggers that they can't get away with this. Pete was kicking and trashing, but the mom was still holding him. Farther down the street, taking a few steps along the edge of the road, the chef stopped. He kicked the dust and planted his feet. Sorry. He had big, shiny looking boots that dust didn't want to stick to his pants. Tuck into the boots.